Hello to you, fellow being. Infinite Spiral here, and we're back, as usual, in Kerbal Space Program. So, in our previous episode, we managed to land a new base on Minmus. It's right over there, 78 kilometers that away on the surface. And as a part of that mission, I had also built in this satellite right here. This is the Min satellite. That was the Moose base. So with this satellite, we need to perform some temperature scans before going out to this target orbit out here. But I sort of figured that that wouldn't take really long enough to fill a full episode, so I actually went back to the Space Center and accepted a couple more contracts, one of which was one that actually added even more temperature scans for exactly the same thing. So I have to make sure real quick that it doesn't require a new a new probe to be sent. So okay, looks like no, this one doesn't. I don't remember if that was the one we had. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've got these two different temperature scan contracts for Minmus, and these are the 3 sites for one of them. And the other 3 sites are here, like so. However, one of them on the contract that I just accepted requires us to be on the surface, so that's the one that we're going to go for first. So Sector S204S. Which one is that? Probably one of the blue ones. Probably this one? Yes, okay. Well, that's amazing. We're already heading right for it. That's really awesome. That's going to be super easy, and once we get that, then we can take off and have a nice straight line to get that orbit going. And yeah, we will plan things from there. So let's just go ahead and warp to, I guess, about here. I don't want to warp too much past that because Minmus is actually rotating under us in the opposite direction, so it could very easily pass us by if I warped too close to where it looks like it is. But here we are approaching the area, and we're going to go ahead and set that as our target with active navigation. And let's get out here. Okay, so where is the target? It's right there. So basically, once we get over it, that's when we'll want to start our retro burn, because it's not going to take much to bring this thing down to the surface. It is a very low mass probe. Most of its mass is just in fuel, so let's go ahead and time warp a little bit to get that under us. And check the map. Okay, yeah, it's time. Should have started just a little bit sooner than that even, but that's okay. And we are actually burning slightly towards it, which is, you know, sort of good. Alright, so we've killed our orbit, heading towards the surface. We're gonna burn towards the target. And I'm fairly certain that we're gonna have enough fuel for this. Not entirely certain, but like I said, it's a low mass thing, so I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it too much. I didn't test any of this out, so I could be totally wrong. I'm burning straight towards the ground. That's foolish. Okay, now, it would be nice if there was some sort of visual marker for where I need to be landing, but there does not seem to be. So I'm just kind of... Oh, okay, we're there. Cool. So we just need to land right here. And that's going to be sort of a rough incline. Hopefully we can manage it. If not, we can adjust accordingly. So yeah, we've burned through a bit of our fuel, but I think it's going to be fine. I'll try and get a better view of this. Hey, look at that. It's a nice little alignment of Kerbin and the moon. I like it. Very pretty. This game is really, really pretty with these mods on. I mean, it's sort of pretty even without them, but man, it's so much prettier with them. Alright, here we come. Almost on the ground, and it's actually not as bad as I thought with the incline. Thankfully, Minmus does have extremely low gravity, which makes things much more simple to deal with. So here we go. Oh, damn you, full throttle button. Crap. Come on. We'll do a little bit of active, or a physical time warp. There we go. Okay. Just touch down very lightly. Alright, and let's get this temperature scan before we tip. Log temperature, and we have credit for it. Good. SAS is the only thing keeping us pointed up right now. We're resting on such a tiny little bit of this engine. Just right there. Tip. That's amazing. Yeah, low gravity of Minmus is the only thing making that possible. Alright, so now that that's done, we're going to head over to these ones. I gotta be careful. Since we're touched down, I'm worried about the thing tipping when I'm not looking at it, but we need to set those. I'm just looking at the other orbital possibilities, so it's looking like, yeah, we just want to go and get those real quick, so activate navigation to that, which is right there, down in the northwest direction. So, let's go that way. Ooh, it's quite the mountain right there. And I don't know what elevation we need for that. Let's look at our trajectory right now. Okay, yeah, we're already heading over it, apparently, so that's 5 FJ4, which is under 5,400. Okay. So let us bring that more towards the ground so we come in under it. God, it's like right where that mountain is. It's a little scary. And yeah, it looks like we've got just barely, yeah, our apoapsis is 4,200 meters. So we will get that as we hit the apoapsis, but man, I guess I'm freaking out for nothing. We're clearly sailing over the mountain, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of time warping until we enter the area, which should happen relatively soon. There we go. Alright, grab another temperature scan. There you are. Log. Yes. And done. Okay, now. Next is this one. 1F, other stuff. 1F ZWD. And that needs to be above 2,600. Okay, so we can start getting an orbit, I think, for that. Let's get off the map screen just in case. Everything's fine. Alright, so at the apoapsis, we will burn towards it and also work on bringing our orbit out a little bit, because I think that would be the proper thing. So that's just going to be a horizontal burn right as the prograde crosses the hemisphere, the equator. And it is doing that right about now. There we go. Full burn. And headed straight at it. A little bit more. Little bit more. There we go. Boy. We're on an escape path. Jeez. Really didn't think it would happen that quickly. Alright, well. It did say above, right? Oh, we're entering the site anyway, so we'll go ahead and grab that and make sure that it counts. Log temperature, yes. Collecting data, and yeah, we got the check mark. Excellent. Okay, so now, where are we going next? I think we want those two. That would be, I think, the easiest adjustment to make, and those are going to be what sites? Well, they're the other two on this one, so it's below 8, both of them are below 8,000 kilometers. 8,000 meters, below 8 kilometers. So, we are going to first burn retrograde to get this thing back into an actual orbit. Because, man, that was really fast how quickly that... Alright, so we've got our orbit, and we need to adjust it. I guess we'll activate navigation for them, but really what we want to do is burn, I guess, normal? Oh, that was not what I was trying to do. Cancel the warping. Alright. Activate maneuver. Add maneuver, yes. Burn in the normal direction. And retrograde. That gets us that kind of an orbit. Which, what we really want to do is bring that up to this point. Because we need to set our orbit going around so we hit both of those on the same path. That's the sort of goal here. So let's cancel that and add a new one there. And rotate it with the retro. Alter it. Okay, that's actually right on the right line, but it also needs to be below 8,000. So yeah, we're basically going to get onto that orbit and then go around and drop the orbit at the periapsis. That, I think, is the plan. But it's going to rotate while we're orbiting. Alright, to account for that, we will make it even more polar, I guess. No, damn it. Didn't want to radial out, just wanted to retro burn. Yeah, these maneuver nodes are a little iffy sometimes. But eventually, with practice, you get used to them. So, You know what? Maybe we just do a retro burn right here until the whole... Wow. It is insanely fast. Alright, we'll radial in to bring that orbit back out. And it's already too high of a periapsis, but we'll keep on bringing it down. And more retro burn. Alright, so 13 and 18. As our fuel. Starting to get low. Not really. I mean, we have more than half, obviously. But it is getting to the point where, you know, it makes me nervous. Which is probably unnecessary, but what can I say? Okay, our periapsis is below 8,000, which is just what we want. So now we will warp to periapsis. No, not next maneuver. Why? Get rid of that maneuver. We don't need it. Warp to periapsis. There we go. Okay, and now we do another retro burn just to bring the apoapsis down, so our whole orbit is below 8 kilometers again. Jeez. Don't full throttle when you're orbiting Minmus. It's way too much. Minmus is way too small for that to be necessary. Alright, bring that back up. Okay, that's a good low orbit. And yeah, it's above 5,000 the whole way around, so we'll still be able to time warp. I'm pretty sure it's 5 kilometers, where if you're below 5 kilometers, you can't time warp. So keep that in mind if you are trying to do something similar to this. But so we're going around that way. Meanwhile, these are rotating this way. So we'll just go ahead and warp to about here. And depending on how things look when we get there, then we will alter our orbit accordingly. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. The moon, Minmus, is not rotating all that quickly, so I don't think we need to worry about that. So I'm just going to draw sort of a straight line mentally through those to there. And that's where we'll make our normal burn along with retro to keep that low orbit and line those up. Damn you, the radial out. It's tough to get this just right. The maneuver system is not as good as it could be. I know there are some mods that make it a little bit more manageable, and I may end up having to look into those at some point, but that time has not yet come. That goes just between them, so we're going to want it actually a little bit sooner than that. There we go. That looks like it goes through right through both of them. And that's what we want, except we need to bring it down just the tiniest little bit so that that stays under 8 kilometers. Okay, that will do it. And we're already there, so let's get pointed at that maneuver and start our burn in 5 seconds from now. 3, 2, let's burn. And there it is. So periapsis 5, apoapsis 6. Beautiful. Excellent. That will work just fine. And let's head out of the map screen just to get a look at our surroundings. Make sure we're not, careening towards some sort of mountain. I don't assume that we are. Pretty sure there aren't any mountains that high around Minmus. So we're going to time warp as we approach those, but we're also going to need to look at the map screen, make sure that they don't rotate too far out of place. Because, as I said, Minmus is rotating around us, or not around us, but under us, and it's entirely possible for those to rotate out of our path. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, here we go. They're approaching the sites. Slowly. Ever so slowly. But they're coming. You can see. They are there. Okay, we've got the first one. Wasn't sure because it looked like we were sort of deviating from its immediate area, but we do have it, so there's that, and we've got the check mark. Beautiful. And now we just keep warping to the second one. And we're in the second one. That was super easy. No fast forwarding necessary. I'm talking about the manual fast forward of the video. Clearly I had to time warp, but that's not the same. Okay, and just one last site left, and we're already heading mostly towards it, so at about that point we will want to burn. Or warp, that works too. But that's an anti-normal. Okay, and that, yeah, pushes it sort of wonky. Let's end the warping. Good, excellent. And add some retro to that. What does it have to be? Above 4,900. Okay, so never mind. We will just do the anti-normal burn, not normal. It's an abnormal burn. Alright, so here we go. Just bring that around. There's our fuel. Just fine, and we even went a little too far because I was looking at the fuel, but that's fine. We'll burn back. And that's going right into it. Alright, so let's grab this last temperature scan. And yeah, these took a lot less time than I expected, even with, twice the amount. Super duper easy. Nice easy money. And we've already entered the area. Apparently it's an enormous area. Jeez. But yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. So, final temperature scan. Right here and now. Beautiful. I suppose I could have been transmitting all of this the whole time and actually getting science from it, but I'd rather not. I prefer to recover full amounts of data by, capturing it with a ship that's actually going to go back to Kerbin. But, yeah, so there's that. Now we just need to establish our synchronous orbit around Minmus, So we are going this way currently, that away, and we need to turn that into a this away, a counterclockwise orbit. Wait, really? Yeah, clockwise. I had my clock directions mixed up apparently, but that means that we're going to make our maneuver at that crossing right here. So add that maneuver, burn anti-normal. Yep. Just sync that up nice and close. Then yeah, this is one of those special things happening with the maneuver node, because retrograde is acting like normal, or anti-normal at that point, so I guess basically we'll, futz about with this until we get it just how we want it, and then at that point, okay, yeah, there we go. You know what? Screw the maneuver. I'm just going to warp to that point and start my burning, because it'll be a lot easier to do without trying to mess with it too much beforehand. So we'll warp to right there, just before that crossing. Provided that that crossing stays in the same place. I think it should. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Okay, well, it didn't. Well, yeah, it did. Okay, we're good. So now we want to burn in the anti-normal direction, which is to the west. And basically we're gonna start pointed at the anti-normal, and that's gonna start moving, and we're just gonna stay right where we started until that happens right there, where the orbit pushes out past the target. So then at that point we bring it back and start burning towards the north, I believe. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of system, but it does seem to work. Alright, almost there. Alright, so now we're slightly off in our inclination, but relatively close in our apoapsis distance. So let's just bring that down until it is close to intersecting, like so. Now, we will find the crossing point, because we can't set this orbit as a target to actually use these nodes more effectively, but we do get to see them on this screen, so they're still functional. It's just the finer aspects of the maneuvering have to be done manually. So I'm going to manually time warp up until the crossing. Right, oop, or we could go ahead and pass it. I'm sure that will be just fine. So let's find the anti-normal. Should be south. Yes. Okay, it's not anti-normal, it's normal. Because of the opposite orbital direction. That's why. But there. So now we've got nice 0.3 degree deviation, I suppose. Well, we can try and negate that. I mean, obviously it won't be perfect, but at least make a slight... Okay, no. I was wrong. Yeah, 0.3 is what we're stuck with at this particular juncture. But we will reach another crossing relatively soon. Let's not time warp past it, but instead directly to it. Yes, hopefully. Like so. Alright, so this should... Nope, that was the wrong one. We wanted anti-normal. Damn! Okay, and now we're at 0.2. 0.1. 0.2. Okay, so looks like that's the best we can get is 0.1 at this crossing. Either that or it's just so sensitive that I'm passing 0. Either way, I'm sure that'll be just fine. So now we just need to get out to the apoapsis. Do one of the automatic warps with that. And then we will push the periapsis out to match the orbit. That should do it. So we want a prograde burn. And let's get a better view of this. Okay, so now we want to radial in. And that should finish the contract, I imagine. We just need to match that up like so. So now, let us see if we can find the contract that we're working on. Maintain stability for 10 seconds. Yep. Like so. Alright. That is all done. Quite beautiful. Not sure why they required that I have this materials bay on the thing, since I haven't used it at all, but well, that's just how the contract goes apparently. But let's just get ourselves pointed into the orbit so our solar panels get to function more fully. And just for the hell of it, we'll observe the materials bay. Why not? Nifty. Yeah. I don't want that science. We'll reset the experiment. You close again. Okay. Good times. Let's, yeah, do nothing. We're done. Well, almost. We'll go ahead and extend our ComSat. And again with the clipping. It's minor, but it exists. I'll have to be more aware of that in future designs, because I don't like it. Not a fan of clipping at all. So I could have put those, well, no. I couldn't have put those anywhere else. I could have dropped them down a tiny bit. But they were inside the fairing because they're the unprotected version, because they weigh less. Which is what you want on a small satellite. But that is about that, apparently. So we've got other contracts, but all of them are going to be too time consuming to put into a full, or to put into the rest of this episode. So maybe this one's just going to be a really, really short one. I don't know. So yeah, we've got a contract to explore Gilly, one to land on Duna. We need to put an orbital station around the moon. That, maybe I could do that. Oh god, no, I'm not doing that. Facility supporting at least 12 Kerbals. No. No thank you. We will do that at a later date when we have much more funding. Better funds for the job, because that's a whole lot of hiring. I mean, I don't think we need to keep these 5 here on Minmus necessarily, so for that one we might end up bringing them back. I don't know that well, no, never mind. I was going to say I don't know that facility could necessarily, the Moose base could get back to Kerbin, but it absolutely can. It's still got half a tank of fuel. So maybe we will do that, but it's not. You know, let's head to the map and just get a look at the Moose base. Okay, so those have protective casings. The sorry, I got distracted just watching them rotate. The solar panels have protective casings, so those are good for re-entry. These communication dishes, those fold in. I'm sure those would be fine for re-entry. It's really just the landing can that would be in any real danger of burning up on re-entry. And as long as we came in engine first, I think we're okay to do this. So yeah, I think we're gonna bring the Moose base back to Kerbin. It seems silly to send it up and then bring it right back, but there's no reason to keep it there, really. I mean, it's got this docking port, so we could land on it and get some fuel from it if necessary, but what's the point? So yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay, that's the plan. So where are we in our orbit? We are on the backside. Actually, that's pretty decent. So we'll go ahead and set Kerbin. Yes, Kerbin? No? Okay, not allowed. Screw it. We'll do it manually. Alright, well, where is everything? Kerbin is there, which means that we need to be heading that way. Let's do it. Let's find... Well, that's enough for now. Okay, there's our door. The door, or the hatch, is what I use for navigating manually. And also, let's turn SAS on just for making things easier. That's also part of why it's so sluggish. We don't have any inline reaction wheels added to this thing. Those were on the satellite stage. No wonder. Anyway, let's go ahead and burn in that direction. To the west. And watch this on the map screen. Okay, west was the wrong direction. We wanted east. Very foolish. Okay. I looked at... Oh, I was using the moon, I guess, as part of my alignment, and it was wrong. Anywho. Let's just get pointed the right way. And burn that way. That way! And also more skyward. Yeah, that looks better. And our fuel's just fine. Periapsis is coming down, yes. Just keep burning until that comes. A little moon interaction just passed by. Alright, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and escape from Minmus, like so. And from here, we will head to the apoapsis, I think. That's... Nope, we're heading that way. Never mind, so we'll just head down to the horizon. That's, I think, the most efficient place to make that burn, or at least effective. Bring our periapsis down within atmosphere. Like so. That's too low. Alright, well I will correct that. Bring it up to about 50 kilometers. And from there, basically just go through the usual thing of, you know, breaking in atmosphere and all that good stuff. And if there's no disaster, then we'll probably rejoin you on the ground. If there is disaster, well, you know, you'll see the disaster. So let's get to it. Okay, I'm a fool. I remembered at the last possible second before running out of fuel while bringing the orbit down that the Moose Base has no parachutes. We would never have survived a landing. So I'm just going to use the rest of my fuel burning prograde and establishing this very near Kerbin orbit. Like so. Okay, we've got orbit. Excellent. What's that looking like? 87 and 173. So, yeah, this is now just a space station with 5 Kerbals in it. We will have to rescue them at some point, which won't be a problem. It's a relatively easy mission, but yeah, so we've got just the slightest amount of fuel left. Oh man, I can't believe I almost did that. That would have been really dumb. There, that's nice and circular-ish. Kind of. I guess I could radial that out. That would be the way to fully circularize. So let's do that. Okay, and then the rest will be prograde again. There's no real reason to be doing this. I just feel like it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. This is dumb. There. 170, 173. That's pretty close to circular, so... Probably a relatively short episode, but... disaster was very, very, very narrowly avoided. I mean, you saw I was on a suborbital trajectory when I came back and fixed it, but yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw here, go and leave a like if you'd like to see more. You know what to do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go watch the last 15 minutes of the Fallout teaser countdown. Thanks for watching.